mischief of the spirit of evil, who withdraws after his whisper, who whispers in the hearts of mankind, among jinn and among men, morning and night.
Entrepreneurship has been a booming phenomenon among youngsters across the world, and for the past few years, especially among high school students. The Aitchison College Entrepreneurial Society is committed to nurturing this passion for entrepreneurship for high school students, and because of this, we bring you this 3-day event with 8 categories to test your wits, problem solving, and your prowess in business economics. Fittingly enough, the chief guest for this opening ceremony is Mr. Umar Saeed. After finishing his high school from Aitchison College, he went to earn his bachelor's degree with high honors from Cremony University, and after that his MBA from the prestigious Harvard Business School. He has been a CEO of Service Industries Limited. Under his leadership, Service has been a 4-time winner of the Pakistan Stock Exchange Top 25 Companies Award, and he is also credited with bringing the company to new horizons, making it one of the biggest footwear retailers in the country with 500 stores across the nation and more than 12 billion rupees in revenues every year. He has also been a board member of various public and private companies, including the Bank of Punjab, Atlas Insurance, and the likes of such. To promote the spirit of business and progress, he has also served as an adjunct faculty member at Lance, where he taught entrepreneurship. I invite our chief guest, Mr. Umar Saeed, to please address the gathering.
Thank you very much to the organizers of ABC for inviting me here. It's a privilege always to come back to Aitchison, a school that has given so much to me, my family, pretty much all we are today is because of this institution. And when I see such events happening here, it's a source of great pride that the institution is moving forward. These are things that we were never able to do. And we only got experiences like this when we went to college in the US. And you guys are very fortunate that in this environment you're getting to compete and challenge and kind of challenge your own intellectual capabilities to get up to the next level. I want to share with you a few things, personal examples of the companies that I started, because all of you seems like have an interest in entrepreneurship and what went right and what went wrong in those before I give you some of my thoughts on the environment of entrepreneurship today. So the first company I ever started was in 2003. And it was called Ovix Technologies. It was a call center and BPO company for US companies. It was a back-end operator, so Pakistan, back in the early 2000s. The trend of call centers was starting up. So I was back from the US from business school, education. Everybody back then was starting internet businesses. And I thought I'd take that challenge and do it in Pakistan. So I started that, got my first client, built up to 3 clients, and then from 1 city to 3 cities, and eventually over 8 years I ran the company, and in 2011 I sold the company when it had about 1,000 employees. So my first entrepreneurial experience in Pakistan was quite positive. But what was the opportunity? That opportunity does not exist today. At that time the opportunity was that there were very few opportunities for the Americans to place their back-end English-speaking call center. And Pakistan had a huge talent pool of people who would speak English, but unemployed and youth. And the government at that time, the importance of government can never be underestimated, gave a huge benefit. They said anybody who starts a call center will get a free line from Pakistan to the US so that 200 people can call simultaneously at a minimal cost. No country in the world had that incentive. So you have to be aware of what your government is offering. Back then it was an incentive to make telecommunications really cheap, ability to speak to Americans at a very low cost, and we did that, and the results were superb. Awareness of the opportunity, awareness of what the government provides is very key. The second company I started ended up in a failure. It's called Surveyed Pharmacies. And this was, I started the company in 2006, and I thought there was a big opportunity in Pakistan. There was no mass-scale drugstore, so I wanted to have a pharmacy in every corner of the country. So I started with Lahore, and I opened up pharmacies, and the opportunity obviously was there was no single brand which was a national brand of pharmacies in that. Opportunity was clear. So how did I go after the opportunity? I hired a third-party company to do a survey for me, a feasibility. They made a feasibility and they said, oh, every store you open, 1,000 customers will come every day. This is the amount of medicine they will buy every day, and this is the margin you will make. Based on that feasibility, went into the business and grew it. But later on, 1 year into running the business, we realized that the government regulates the pricing of drugs in this country. So the government does not let you make more than 12% margin on selling medicine. And because of that, the entire retail business of pharmacies could never work. If you wanted to do ethical business, which we were trying to do, it did not work. So low gross margins was an opportunity or lack of opportunity which was not highlighted. We had not done our homework properly. We were told that the margins will increase as you scale up, and it never happened. And eventually we lost millions of dollars in it. The fact the company was sold off, the beauty of these businesses is that what you think is not good enough for you is worthwhile. Somebody else can pick it up and snap and turn it around, and I will make it happen. And somebody else is now struggling. And you still see the surveyed pharmacies, 40 or 50 of them out there. Third business I started was in 2016. It's called Shoebox, which is a retail store. You see it probably in some parts of the world. And it is now in maybe 10 cities, 35 stores. Here the challenge was that we had factories which had a lot of shoemaking capacity, no sales channels. So the first thing I did was, which is interesting perhaps for you guys, is I called some of the best internet entrepreneurs of the world. People who started Park Wheels, I got them in a room. The founder of RB Stock, I got them in a room. The founder of the biggest ticketing online company here, I got them in a room. They said, yaar, nayi company shuru karni hai, shoes बेचने के. So service and Bata are established. How do I start a third company? Can I just go online and never have a retail store and just beat those guys through a side entry into the market through this? And I got mixed reviews. He said Pakistan online market is not mature enough. Shoes are not a good category. किसी को एक size पूरा आता है, दूसरा नहीं आता in the same brand. So shoes will keep coming back. So we decided to go retail instead of going online. 4 years down the road, I think we made a mistake because the retail market did not provide the opportunity. It's a huge cluster of competition out there, very competitive. There was no market. So we went in and we started banging our heads against giants like Bata and Stylo and Service. And there was no room. Anything we tried to do, they could do better. And we're now in a situation where we're knee deep into this problem, losing millions of dollars in the business, can't shut it, and can't grow it either. And this is still an ongoing experiment what will happen. But the key here is that I think I missed the opportunity. The pace at which the market was changing, the opportunity to create the first online footwear brand was there, and I left it open. And I went and said, I know this business, I will do what I know. And I went and banged my head against the wall and still suffering from it. So, knowing the future, predicting the future, very key, very important. You guys are young, you can understand this technology market or this internet space better than we could. The retail space in this country is very crowded. So the opportunities there don't exist as they did maybe 20 years ago when I was starting business in this country. And the final business, which I just founded 6 months ago, is a joint venture with a Chinese company to make truck tires in Pakistan. So nobody makes truck tires in this country. So we signed up with a big Chinese company, and where's the opportunity here? So we looked at the opportunity of China having serious trade barriers to selling their tires or their products anywhere in the world. So 25 countries in the world have now put major anti-dumping tariff on Chinese products. So what is happening? So China has huge manufacturing capacities, but they can't sell. They own those markets, and now those markets are empty. So the Chinese are looking to relocate. Pakistan is looking to bring foreign investors. Great opportunity again provided by the government. So we spent a year, worked on this joint venture opportunity, and now We are started at $250 million investment, which is the largest in this category for many, many years. But I think what I've learned in all these 4 startup environments is that opportunities are there all the time. You got to first pick the opportunity that you're going after, and then find the right partner to do it. And Michael was saying to me that partners, everybody looks for a partner in their startup businesses today, which is true. So more minds, more capability, more technology support from different areas can actually help. So most companies have co-founders, 2, 3, 4 people found companies together. Similar, companies also get together and see what strategically they can get from each other and get going. This is generally my own experience with startups in Pakistan. In 2003, when I started my first call center company, there was no VC in the country. None. You could not go and raise money anywhere. Compare that to today, so you've got national incubation centers in 3 cities, you've got venture firm after venture firm giving money. You're in a different world out there. I think it's a much better opportunity, much better timing to become an entrepreneur. A quick word on new economy versus old economy. So I'm a big fan of the old economy, maybe because most of my business successes have been in the old economy. And the old economy is traditional businesses, manufacturing, retail, professional services. These are old economy businesses. The new economy is the internet, and everything to do with the internet. Telecom industry. These are areas where artificial intelligence, where I'm sure you're all very challenged with the opportunities and looking at opportunities there. I still look at old economy, and I think there's many opportunities. And I think one piece of advice for all of you is that while there's a lot of noise in this artificial intelligence and Internet of Things world, some of you should also be looking at what others are not looking at anymore. Old economy. The last business that we started is old economy. Tire manufacturing has been happening for 50 years. But being in Pakistan, unique opportunity, Chinese having a unique set of difficulties around the world. Old economy, I thought, offered a much bigger opportunity than any new economy business did. So please keep this in mind as you focus on thinking of what business you want to start. When I worked in Silicon Valley for 2 years, 2000 and 2001. The whole world was gravitating towards the Silicon Valley. I remember the first company I worked for, we were at a recruiting event, and the guy next to me was Larry Page, and Google had just started, and he was recruiting people for Google, talking about 2000. And the same number of people were coming to interview for Google that were coming to interview for the company that I was a part of, which is called HomeWarehouse.com. Home Warehouse got sold to Walmart, and Google is what it is today. But I've been in that environment at the time when the whole world is talking about internet businesses. And at that time, I think the key point here is that the 2 hottest companies were eBay and Amazon. And everybody said in 2001, 2002 that the greatest company ever founded is eBay. They will never have any inventory. They will never have a fixed asset. All they're doing is using this great internet technology and creating a marketplace. And look at what happened. And they were all saying that Amazon will be a complete failure. How can you have so many distribution centers? How can you own product and sell? And look where we are 15 or 20 years ago or later. Nobody talks about eBay anymore. At that time, the smartest brains in the world, the best VCs of the world, they were all saying eBay, this is it. And today, eBay is probably a $20, $30 billion company, and Amazon is close to $1 trillion. So don't pay a lot of attention to all of the expert opinions that you read. You live in your own environment, you have your own brain, you have your own opportunity to go after. And as you go after those opportunities, you shall realize that you see things that others don't, because you've got this tunnel vision of working in this environment. What is your environment? Pakistan is still not part of the global e-commerce world. So you've still got this pocket, this cocoon, this Pakistan market that you have to understand. Last couple of things. So I think now I run a Families Foundation, Service Foundation, which mostly focused on charitable, non-profit entities. So if any one of you has any social entrepreneurship ideas, so we invest in social entrepreneurship endeavors quite aggressively and very regularly. So if anybody is thinking of social entrepreneurship, whether it is for-profit or non-profit, please come to us. Our company is called Service Foundation, and we have money and we want to give that money to people with good ideas which have social impact. I want to share one quote with you, final quote. This is a Harvard professor of mine. He died 10 days ago, Clayton Christensen. Some of you may have heard of him. An absolute gem of a guy. Taught me also. And back in 1998, when I was in Harvard Business School, he would be teaching sustainable enterprise, and the whole top companies of the world would come to him for advice. Later in his career, after we graduated from Harvard, he moved to writing different sort of books. One of his books is called Innovator's Dilemma. I hope all of you have read it. If not, must read. Right? He's written multiple books after that, but I think his focus in the later part, last 15 years of his educational research, was around the meaning of life and how business and entrepreneurship and how enterprise is all a tool towards achieving a meaning for life. And there's one quote of his, and I've kept it with me for many, many years now, and I read it more often now because he's passed away. I want to read it. Clayton says, I came to understand that while many of us might default to measuring our lives by summary statistics, such as number of people we preside over, number of awards we get, or dollars accumulated in our bank accounts, and so on. The only metrics that will truly matter to my life are the individuals who I have been able to help, one by one, to become better people. And he goes on to say that when I have my interview with God, our conversation will focus on the individuals whose self-esteem I was able to strengthen, whose faith I was able to reinforce, and whose discomfort I was able to assuage. A doer of good, regardless of what assignment I had. These are the metrics that matter in measuring my life. Somewhere down the road, when you're all successful entrepreneurs, you will realize that respect doesn't come from wealth. Respect comes from what you do for humanity. And let me end by telling you what, in my 30-year work experience, what's the one characteristic of entrepreneurs that for me is probably above all other characteristics, and that is caring for their employees. Whenever I find a guy who's coming to raise money or running a business division for us, and he says, "Ye log mere liye kaam karte hain, I want to make their life better," I realize the guy is a leader. I realize the guy is entrepreneurial capabilities. So if you have in you that you have not surrounded your staff, your driver, your cook, people around you at home who are not very privileged, and you put yourselves in their shoes. If you have that habit, then you've got the right ingredient to be an entrepreneur. Because then you've got the ingredient to look after the people that you will go on to lead in your life. Thank you.
We are also joined here today by our Deputy Headmaster, Dr. Kamran, who has shown great support for the society and this event. I would like to invite him to share a few words.
Thank you all. Very warm welcome to Aitchison College, and wishing you best of luck for the upcoming events for next couple of days. And thank you so much for your thoughtful words. And obviously the opportunities are there. You have to apply yourself. All we need to be being student, we have to think in a positive way. And looking forward, yes, the market and the economy coming, the next future is compatible. We need to be thinking smart. And again, I'm going to take much of your time. Best of luck.
I would now like to invite Umar Sajid, the General Secretary of our society, to declare this conference.
Honorable Chief Guest, worthy administrators and Deputy Headmaster, and honorable delegates, Assalamu Alaikum. On behalf of the Aitchison College Entrepreneurial Society, it is my deepest pleasure to extend my heartfelt welcome to all of you here at the 7th edition of the highly coveted Aitchison Business Concept. Now, an 11-year-old initiation, each year will be anchored with these walls, and the spirit of just 3 days, we attempt to celebrate the best ideas and the projects of our future policymakers, in effect, our future entrepreneurs. What makes Aitchison's spirit distinct is its pragmatism, the recognition of the transformation of business ideas. Do not put yourself into the trap of mistaking these 3 days for the abstract of the word. Do not reduce the word of that word. Because to experience ABC and to win ABC is to go inside the issues that matter. To experience ABC is to reach inside yourself for the strength, skills, and confidence you will develop to face these issues. Our months of hard work with sprints around the campus and strenuous hours of deliberate will ensure that you emerge from this conference capable of making decisions that will be vulnerable in your practical life. Each day at ABC, we will begin with one question. What difference will you make in these 3 days? And more importantly, beyond? Within my own journey in ABC, starting off as a publications team member, my observations and notes for the difference the society can compel one to make have not been short of all. ABC has always delivered and shall always continue to deliver. Which is why I urge you all to create your own benchmarks and to join this family of ABC that we have now started in the past 11 years. I urge you all to put your wisdom together and take actions towards ensuring you're going to have a memorable business wedding, to mark ABC's spirit as the one you carry around. Having said that,